welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a quick broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. It's wee hours in the morning. The Lord's got me up. Hope you don't mind me drinking a cup of my coffee. A sip, rather. I wanted to bring you a quick broadcast. Israel had 2 strikes in Syria against Iranian installation and against hostile enemies close to Israel's borders. Now, Israel has an absolute 100% right to defend itself from people that shouts their demise and is on the threshold of getting a nuclear weapon. Before I go into the program, I'll say this, that Iran will not stop pursuing nuclear weapons. I don't care what kind of deal you give them. They may lay low for a while and let the sanctions go down and reap some benefits, but they'll get back at it. Israel proved it with the last nuclear deal, and they'll do it again. Israel knows the picture will change once they get the nuclear weapons. They know that. They're not stupid. And the fact that they know that that would change the whole situation, how people handles them. Well, Israel struck in Syria, and now mind you, again, and I know sometimes I go over this quite often, but I want to drive home the point. In Genesis 12:3, God is talking here. It says, "I will bless them that bless thee." This is God talking about Israel. "And I will curse him that curses thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed." He's talking about Israel. Now, the United States must protect Israel and be a friend of Israel's friends and an enemy of Israel's enemies. Israel has every right in the world to be worried about a nuclear deal because they know that Iran will get even more money, a tremendous amount of more money, with the sanctions lifted and their money unfrozen from foreign banks, which allows them to speed up the process. They didn't abide by the last nuclear deal. Israel proved that with a special ops, getting documentation that they were still working on it. And that's my own opinion. I should have a right to my own opinion. Now, I got a video that shows a quick, it's only about a minute, close to 2 minutes long, from Israeli live news. It's coming out right after this. It's very short. It shows the strikes against the Iranian installations in Syria. Now, you heard me preach again, and this is a topic for another discussion, that what worries me is my country thinks they can do far worse than what ancient Israel did and God not do anything. And ancient Israel was set aside not once but twice and that's God's country, and he let a more evil country take them over. We can never get so big here in the United States thinking that nothing like that would happen to us, because there's a lot of empires thought the same exact thing. That's what scares me. I don't know much about President Biden. I don't know his relationship to Israel, but I pray it's a strong one. I pray he's a friend of their friends and an enemy to their enemies, and that means Iran. So, with that said, it's a short broadcast. I just wanted to let you know that Israel is striking Iranian installations in Syria. They have a right to. Iran is their sworn enemy. Iran has vowed to destroy them, and have every right to strike in Syria to protect against enemies that's planning harm to the Israeli people. With that said, you're watching and listening to another broadcast of Jerusalem's Gate. Here comes the video. We see you on the next broadcast.
Moving on, airstrikes reported in Syria for the 2nd day in a row. Syrian news agencies again alleging Israel is responsible. Explosions seen late Wednesday night near the South Syrian Quneitra province, according to the Sana Syrian State News Agency. And though no casualties have been reported from last night, these strikes coming just a day after one civilian was killed and 6 others injured in airstrikes to the north in Latakia. Both Sana and the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights blaming Israel for both attacks, saying the latest strikes were led by a helicopter just north of Israel's border. The apparent target, the Syrian Army's 90th Brigade and pro-regime military positions near the Israeli Golan Heights. Israel viewing any Iranian or pro-Iranian military entrenchment near the border as unacceptable. And in kind, the IDF launching hundreds of strikes against Iran-affiliated targets in Syria over the last few years. Additionally, this also following a supposedly misfiring Syrian missile strike in late April, the projectile reaching deep into Israeli territory around the Dimona nuclear reactor and setting off air raid sirens nearby.